Free agency is almost here. We are literally just days away. So make sure you're subscribed, because when the Chiefs sign a player, when somebody signs a former Chiefs player, when something happens that's breaking news related to Kansas City, we have you covered. And I'm telling you, there's no other spot on YouTube where you're going to get up-to-date, to-the-minute news, analysis, and reports from the NFL free agency regarding your Kansas City Chiefs. And today, we talk about some non-wide receiver free agent targets I could see Brett Veach going after. That's all coming up right here on the Chiefs Report. Let's get this thing rolling. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us, as always, here on the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Jace Andrews, and as you see on the bottom of your screen, as I talked about in the intro, we're going to talk about some non-wide receiver free agents that I could potentially see the Kansas City Chiefs signing in 2024. Again, we are counting down the days till NFL free agency officially opens up. The tampering period starts on March 11th, and then you can officially sign these guys Wednesday, March 13th. So let's start with what this team needs besides wide receiver. It's going to be the defensive line, the cornerback, and the running back. That's the three areas of improvement I would like to see, because if you look across the board, safeties you seem pretty fine in. The defensive line, you could use some help. Linebackers, you got hopefully signing back Drue Tranquill, and if you don't, you have Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal, who both played really well. Running back, you only have one really starter on your team with Isaiah Pacheco. Both CEH and Jerick McKinnon are free agents. So these are the guys that maybe we focus on a little bit here on the non-wide receiver free agents, but there are also going to be some other positions we will mix in. Let's start first with the running back being Zack Moss. Now, if you've been a fan of this channel or you've watched the show in previous times, you may have heard me talk about Zack Moss in a couple different situations and the Chiefs potentially being able to sign this guy because he played really, really well this past year with the Indianapolis Colts. Nearly 800 yards as the RB2 for a majority of the season, 4.3 on the average, 5 touchdowns, 183 carries. Obviously, he had a really good season backing up Jonathan Taylor. And here's the thing. When JT was hurt and had all contract stuff and some of the things like that, he was really good. He was really good when he was the starter. I don't think anybody's going to sit here and say that he was not a very good starter. And so you look at him from a financial perspective and from a legitimacy perspective, he could work out well because you like Isaiah Pacheco. Obviously, you're not trying to get somebody to replace him in any way. But I want somebody that can take the load off of him because we saw this past year. Pacheco had the head injury. Pacheco had the knee injury. He had the legs. He had the shoulder. There was just a couple times where he was dinged up. And although not all of them required him to take some time off the field, I still would rather have somebody in the wings that I can trust to be the starter because I love Jerick McKinnon. I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think they're both really, really good. I don't know if I trust them as much as Isaiah Pacheco to lead the team. I think if I had Zack Moss, I would feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that he has starter-level experience. We'll see if the Chiefs end up signing him, though. I don't know how much they're going to prioritize a running back because, well, the running back draft class does stink, but I still think they could be able to pull someone out in there, either Dylan Johnson from Washington. I know we've talked about Bucky Irving from Oregon. There's a couple of guys in the later parts, fourth, fifth round, I get to the Chiefs possibly pulling out. Let's go to the defensive line because I think it's important to go there. Emmanuel Ogbah. I know you're sitting here saying, Jace, we need defensive interior linemen. And while, yes, that is true, I'm going to make my case for Ogbah here. But the first thing is, he already knows this team because he played with them back in 2019 with Coach Spags. And I think it's time for a reunion in Kansas City. I think it's time for him to come back and play with the Chiefs another time. Ultimately, there's a lot of things that could potentially go wrong in a season. And, well, one of them has already happened, and the season hasn't even started. Charles Omenihu is injured. He will probably not play in the first couple of games. So your defensive line and your defensive edges, more importantly, consist of these four guys. George Karlaftis, third-year guy, can trust him. He's a certified starter. Felix Anyuduke Uzoma. He was the first-round pick this past year, but he has not been a quote-unquote certified starter at all. He played in just one full game, to be honest, this past year. B.J. Thompson, although he played well, haven't seen much of him. Malik Herring, who people have high hopes on, but again, not a certified starter. And with Omenihu, who will not be ready until around mid-season, I think it'd be nice to try and add another edge rusher. Emmanuel Ogbah knows this team, and he had a decent 2023 season. 5 sacks was where he sat with the Miami Dolphins. He had 5 years there in South Beach, and I think it's time to bring him back home to Kansas City. Now, I know that Ogbah's contract could be interesting, obviously, getting cut from the Dolphins. I don't know exactly what the price would cost, but I don't think it would be too much. And for the chance to go get another ring, I think Ogbah may take a little bit of a discount for his old team. How excited would you be to see an Ogbah reunion in Kansas City? Scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being least happy, 10 being most happy or excited, whatever you want to call it. I'm curious to see what y'all think. Get down in the comment section, let me know. Scale it 1 to 10, how excited would you be to see an Ogbah reunion in Kansas City? I know you're going to look at this and you're going to hate me, but I'm saying it again because I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on media outlets, I've seen it on a lot of places. The Chiefs are not going to stick with Blaine Gabbert. They need to get a backup QB, and there is none better out there for the price that he will be than Drew Lock. He has done a lot of good things in his career, and I think he could be a potential to really boost this team. It's time to replace Gabbert. I'm tired of this. Let's get a veteran quarterback to back up Mahomes. Mahomes is the veteran quarterback now. That's what he is. There is no reason to go after anybody else in terms of trying to get veteran-style guys. Now, Drew Lock, 27 years old. He's got a lot of positives going for him. And if you're going to sit here and say, well, no, Jace, Blaine Gabbert's a Missouri guy. Okay, so is Drew Lock. He played for Mizzou in college, just like Blaine Gabbert. And I think it's still nice to get some really younger talent with Mahomes, because I'm never going to sit here and say that Drew Lock is going to come in here and be a starter for Kansas City. That's not what I'm going at. But I think he could be a good person to have if Mahomes goes down. If it's 2 games, if it's 3 games, we don't know. I mean, we've seen Tom Brady have some injuries in his career. Mahomes is no less susceptible to injuries than anybody else. He grew up in Columbia, Missouri. He'd be coming back home. I think Drew Lock would be a good fit. And on top of which, he's a good price, and you're getting a former round 2 quarterback in 2019. This guy was supposed to help the Broncos. He was supposed to be the fix. He wasn't. That's okay. Went to Seattle. Performed well there behind Geno Smith. Had a game-winning drive against the Eagles. When the lights shine bright, Drew Lock has been able to come in. So that's exactly why I feel like he'd be a good option for the Chiefs, because no matter when it happens, if it happens, or what happens, if Patrick Mahomes goes down, you need somebody who can block out the noise. That's Drew Lock. He's played well his past 4 seasons, obviously with the Broncos for the 3 of those, starting in 2020. Nearly 3,000 yards that year, 16 touchdowns. 15 interceptions, and they were sitting here saying, Jace, the QBR isn't good. I understand. But again, you're not looking for somebody who's going to be a certified starter or somebody who's going to be able to go out there whenever necessary and play. You're looking for a guy who is a solid option to come in and play when the lights shine bright. Drew Lock has shown time and time again he can do exactly that, and I think he'd be a good fit in Kansas City considering his history. Let's continue on here with the quarterback position, because that's a potential you could need with L'Jarius Sneed being traded. Amik Robertson, I know he plays for the Raiders, had some certain words for Kansas City, but I think he'd be a good option. I will start with this, and I know that there are probably some people in the comments saying, what the hell are you talking about, Jace? This is stupid. I only say you pursue him if Sneed is traded. If Sneed is not traded, you keep him, no reason. Your cornerback room is set. You have Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. You're fine in that in those assets. If you do trade L'Jarius Sneed, I'd like to have somebody else to kind of bolster up that room. And Amik Robinson, I'm not going to front. I think he's actually got some pretty good abilities. He's a smaller cornerback, but he kind of fits the range with like Trent McDuffie and is similar to that style. He had 2 interceptions in 2023, and his PFF grades were overall solid. In fact, the pass rush, which I think that's maybe where he would be used most in like blitz packages and similar stuff where you're blitzing a corner, he had a really decent PFF grade. And again, you're probably looking at these stats going, Jace, I don't like that at all. Well, you're not looking for somebody to be a starter. This is not a starter pick. This is a guy who can come in and be a depth option and know that you can trust him. Say Trent McDuffie, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson gets hurt. You'll be fine. I think that's the way you look at this. And Obviously, I know that he was a Raider. He said some things about the Chiefs, but we sit here, we think about the situation. It's a business, and a rivalry is a rivalry. If you put him in the Kansas City shoes, probably pretty happy because he could have a Super Bowl ring by the end of the year. Want you to name a non-wide receiver free agent that you want the Chiefs to sign in 2024. Is there somebody in the past 4 that I've mentioned? Is there somebody that I've missed? Is there somebody that we've talked about previously on the show that I'm not talking about now? Well, here's your time to get in the comment section. Let me know a non-wide receiver free agent that you want the Chiefs to sign in 2024. All right, the last one is an interior defensive lineman, and it's Grover Stewart, the defensive tackle, recently played for the Indianapolis Colts. You need to help out the defensive interior. The defensive interior is really rough because right now, if you don't have Chris Jones signed, which is the way we sit right now, your only defensive tackle left that actually played meaningful minutes was Mike Pennell. You have Neil Farrell Jr., but he was kind of in and out of the lineup. I don't think he ever really played truly meaningful minutes. Pennell was a freaking powerhouse in the Super Bowl. I mean, he played very, very well. Grover Stewart could be a guy to come in here and play like a starter without any starter-level experience on the Chiefs squad, at least. And he played this year with the Indianapolis Colts, had just 1 sack, but overall, you have a lot of good PFF grades here from a guy, again, you're looking to just bolster up the line. You're looking for somebody big to put in there and try and disrupt. You're looking for more of a presence than a stat sheet. And Grover Stewart, he's got a presence. 6'4", 314, and it's all muscle. This guy can move the weight like nobody's business. I expect him to be a menace wherever he goes. I would like it to be in Kansas City to help out the defensive interior, but obviously, we know that Brett Veach has his ways to find out specific people at specific times in specific ways. And Brett Veach, and he keeps winning Super Bowls, so I can't question him. But goodness, he has some interesting ways to look about life. All right, hit that subscribe button because we've got the latest Chiefs news, rumors, everything you can want, all right here on the Chiefs Report. Promise you, you're not going to regret it. Go scroll down that little red subscribe button, press that. I'd certainly appreciate it. But for now, Chiefs Kingdom, peace out.